Hi students, good morning all. In this video we are going to discuss the current affairs from the newspaper dated 16 May 2026. So my name is Manoj Kumar. So in this video we will have an in-depth discussion from the UPSC point of view. The first article you can see on the screen. The petrol diesel prices hiked by 3 rupees per liter. So you may get a simple doubt. Who determines the prices of oil, diesel and petrol in India? Is it government? Is it private sector or or a regulatory agency? Who determines it? So the prices of petrol and diesel in India is determined by the market forces, by the oil PSUs, not government. So since the public sector undertakings are under the control of the government, certainly they are being influenced. That means just to increase the price after the elections is an example of it. So in case if you get a question in the exam that the prices of diesel and petrol in India are regulated by the government, it's not correct. The government of India influences the prices by reducing the tax rates or increasing the tax rates, and ultimately the PSUs, according to their profit margin, according to their operational sustainability, they determine the prices. So how much do you know the petrol and diesel are a cash cow for the government? They get a lot of money. In the year 2024-25 provisional estimate, the center got 4.24 lakh crore on the petrol and petroleum products in the form of taxes, and states got 7.57 lakh crore on petrol and petroleum products in the various form of taxes. And it's, you should also take note of this fact that petrol and diesel are exempted from, or they are not, as of now they are not part of GST. Please take note of this fact. So here we have the move will help the state and oil marketing companies stem some losses caused by global prices. So suppose you are buying something, let's say you are buying at rupee 50 and government is imposing taxes and all, it is making around 100, but you are still selling at 90. That means you are making 10 rupee loss. In order to avoid that losses, the PSUs have increased. This is the statement made by the government. So it is 97.77 in Delhi, while the same petrol is 133.33 something like in states like Andhra Pradesh. Why so much of difference? Like around 16 rupee difference between Delhi and the price of Andhra Pradesh. It's because the prices varies because of the state tax rates. What is windfall tax? Windfall tax, suppose now there is a huge demand for petrol and diesel. All over the world, there is prices are going up. Now some of the companies will start exporting to abroad markets. Let's say some of our PSUs located in our Reliance company, they will start exporting to other countries where there is more demand, where they get more income. In order to avoid the export, the government is imposing windfall tax. If there is, now we'll move on to the next article. So if you have any doubts, you can put in the chat box below. So India's goods exports climbed to $43.6 billion. So now you can see on the screen. So here you can see the merchandise imports, or we are importing this much, 71.9, while we are exporting this much. That means our merchandise imports are greater than what we export. Let's say we're exporting $71.9 billion importing, and we're exporting just 43.6. This is the monthly data. The the blue color bar shows the data for April 2025, and the brown color shows the data for April 2026. And in the service sector, you can see we are importing less and exporting more. So I will take you to a question, a PYQ which has been asked in the UPSC prelims with reference to the international trade of India at present. Which of the following statements are correct? India's merchandise exports are less than its merchandise imports. India's imports of iron and steel, chemicals, fertilizers, and machinery have decreased in recent years. India's exports of services are more than its imports services. India suffers from an overall current account deficit. Select the correct answer using the code given below. So here they are asking about with regard to the India's foreign trade. India's merchandise exports are less than its merchandise imports. Statement 1 is correct. And statement 2, India's imports of iron and steel, chemical fertilizers have decreased in recent years. It is partly incorrect, because we still continue to import certain grade steel, amount of steel, because some superior quality steel is produced in abroad, and we still import fertilizers, we still import chemicals. So the statement which tells that India's imports of chemicals, steel, and fertilizers has decreased is factually incorrect. And India's exports of services are more than its import services. 3 is correct. Now 4th, India suffers from an overall current account deficit. Why? Because we import more and export less. Because of this, now the answer is option D, 1, 3, and 4 only. Now we'll move on to the next. So here we can see the Ashok calls for a unified global effort to defeat drug menace. Now we can see there are global problems. What are the global problems? Which are not limited to any one specific country, which extend beyond the borders. Now we can see why Trump invaded Venezuela. His claim was that he wanted to get rid of a drug mafia that prevent the entering of drugs into the America. So the problems like terrorism, drugs are a pose problem for all countries in the world. So he called for a unified legal framework to deal with the issue. So geopolitical differences and rise of narco-terror states. What are narco-terror states? So the countries which actively promote drugs and terrorism, you can say Pakistan too. So narco-terror states. So it's not about the trafficking. The trafficking, it causes a lot of issues like human trafficking. This drug, what we say, the drug lords have connection with various other illegal activities. So you can see in the UPSC mains, some of the questions have been asked with regard to the problem-led drugs. India's proximity to the two of the world's biggest illicit opium growing states has enhanced our internal security concerns. Explain the linkage between drug trafficking and other illicit activities such as gun running, money laundering, and human trafficking. What countermeasures should be taken to prevent the same? You might have heard about Golden Triangle, like Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran. Here, These also opium producing countries. And here we have Myanmar, Thailand, and Laos to the east of India. See, let's say, imagine here India is there. On the what we see on the western side, Afghanistan, Iran, Pakistan, the hub for opium production. And this side, on the eastern side, Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, they are the hub for production of opium. So, explain the linkage between drug trafficking. So now, in order to drug trafficking can they do freely? So they have to rely on some terrorist networks. Now you can see across the Indian border, some of the times the drones are detected, which are carrying some amount of drugs. Some individual person who is cultivating drugs can he operate on his own? No, he has to depend on some network, organized network, to carry the drugs, to deliver it. In order to secure them, what they will do, they will procure some weapons. So now weapon, and also the human trafficking. Why they do human trafficking? Suppose to make people addicted to drugs, they use them as, suppose they recruit some small children, they use them as agents to carry the drugs, some individuals. So this is a big nexus. What countermeasures should be taken? The answer is open question. No need to have facts in your mind. So they are telling what measures can be taken to prevent the same. Secure borders. We'll write 10 points. Secure patrolling. Coordination with bordering states. Border states. 3. Dialogue with like-minded countries. 4. Intelligence sharing. For intelligence sharing. 5. What can we do? So, use of technology to track the movement of drugs. Use of technology. 6. Strict laws. 7. Awareness among people about the impact of the use of drug. Awareness. 8. Engagement of civil society. So not always police can enforce the drug related. So religious leaders, social activists, they can also be used as the messengers of regarding information. Suppose if someone knows that some drugs are being distributed there, they will immediately inform the police. They will catch the drug cartel and all. So now another question has been asked: the use of unmanned aerial vehicles by adversaries across the borders to ferry arms, ammunition, drugs, etc. is a serious threat to the internal security. Comment on the measures being taken to tackle this threat. This is the PYQ that has been asked in the UPSC GS3 internal security. Nowadays, we are seeing the rapid explosion of drones. So the drones they carry, I don't know, some of the times the BSF catches several drones which have been carrying drugs, weapons, arms, ammunition, etc. So, comment on the measures being taken to tackle this threat. The BSF has found, now they are asking comment on the measures. Now you need to comment what measures are taken. Please note down. Here there is no space, right? So anti-drone units. So the government has set up anti-drone units. Soft kill and hard kill. Soft kill means capturing the drone if possible. If not possible, killing directly, shooting it. 3. Night vision binoculars. Suppose if there are some special equipment which can be used to observe the any night time if there is unmanned aerial vehicles. Use of CCTV surveillance across borders. Smart fencing. smart fencing. So creating awareness among the people. Suppose if they anybody spotted unmanned aerial vehicle drone, they should immediately report to the police, etc. So now we'll move on to the next article. So we have an excellent, very good article. So we have a trade, supply chain, and economic statecraft. A very good article written by Honorable MP Shastarur. So this article is about the geopolitics and economics. Today we have seen politics is different, economics is different. But today the supply chain and they are coming together. So now the economics is influencing more the how suppose why Trump went to China, because China is today enjoying a superior economic advantage in the terms of critical minerals, in terms of technology, in terms of manufacturing, or it has a lot of consumption power. So the statecraft, the future of markets and statecraft is no longer a trend. It's the organizing principle of 21st century. So today, tariffs, export controls, supply chain restrictions, weaponization of interdependence. For long, everyone believed that economic, what we say, trade promotes cooperation. But it's a belief of, so simple telling. I am buying something. Let's say I'm buying milk from the milkman. Milkman is buying groceries from me. So it's kind of interdependence. So for long, it was believed that interdependence is good for all countries. But today, we see the weaponization of supply chain. That means China telling, I will not supply export. I am stopping export of semiconductors to China, USA. USA is telling, I will stop exporting technology to China. Now supply chain, you know, Apple phone, Apple phone, right? In order to make an Apple phone, the components which are used in it have to come from 50 countries. Suppose if there is any kind of disruption in any of the single supply chain, the whole product will get delayed. Today, the production is globalized. So he is also telling how India is diversifying itself, the economic diplomacy. Today, we have been also able, far thinking minded means today we fostered semiconductor alliances. We are making some agreements. Today, have you heard about the name Kabil? Khanij Videsh India Limited. We have formed a dedicated company which will go and explore the minerals in foreign countries. So it has signed agreements with several African countries, several South American countries. It will, on behalf of India, it will mine there and export back to India. So economic diplomacy. So let's take a look at some of the PYQs which have been asked led to this topic. The West is fostering India as an alternative. The West is fostering India as an alternative to reduce dependence on the China's supply chain and as strategic ally to counter China's political and economic dominance. Explain this statement with examples. This question has been asked for 2024 with 10 marks. Recently, India joined, I will tell you. So, the West is fostering India I will tell you how West is China plus one strategy. So many countries which have been investing in China, they are looking for alternatives to, like Apple company. Apple has the world's largest manufacturing hub in Tamil Nadu. Its annual export value is more than 1 lakh crore. So several companies which have been investing in China, they are now looking towards India in order to diversify the risk. Suppose if all companies are in China, they have to abide with China's restrictions in order to evade the problems of putting all manufacturing in one country. Now several MNCs are diversifying towards Vietnam. Diversifying towards Vietnam. So now China is using its economic relations and positive trade surplus as tools to develop potential military power status in Asia. In the light of these statements, discuss its impact on India as her neighbor. So, economic interest has emerged as a main component of India's foreign policy. Discuss the statement in the light of India's initiative to promote relations with China, Japan, and Central Asian republics. So, the previous article talks of the economic component in foreign relations. So, productivity, not just growth for Viksit Bharat. So, India is recording a 6.5% of GDP growth, but the problem with that, the productivity is not growing equally. The manufacturing sector, we have seen service sector contribution 55% and agriculture 17%, manufacturing sector 28%. So the article talks of how to can we increase the productivity of laborers in the manufacturing sector. How can the manufacturing sector be improved? So So now we'll take a look at some of the PYQs that have been asked related to the productivity, the manufacturing sector. Faster economic growth requires increased share of the manufacturing sector in the GDP, particularly of the MSMEs. India faces the problem of missing middle. What is missing middle? There are several small MSMEs, very few middle-sized firms, and some large firms. So this small MSMEs, they are not graduating into the bigger companies or bigger corporate. So comment on the present policies of the government in this regard. What policies the government is giving? So we need to revise the classification of MSMEs. Revised classification, or what we say priority sector lending, or let's say Atma Bharat scheme, self-reliant India, or infrastructure development. So infrastructure like ports, roads, they all play a key role in improving the manufacturing sector. And for MSMEs, technology center, dedicated ministry for MSMEs, Comment on the present policies of the government in this regard. So the economic growth in the recent past has been led by the increase in the labor productivity. Explain the statement, suggest the growth pattern that will help to create more jobs without compromising labor productivity. So it's telling that in the recent years, that the question tells that the recent years the labor productivity has been mainly due to the the economic growth has been improved mainly due to labor productivity. So it tells that how can we in future also create more jobs without compromising on labor productivity. So creating, so suppose let's say we are economic growth we are creating, but employing 100 people for the same job and earning the 100 rupees, and employing 10 people and earning 100 rupees matters a lot. So this is the PYQ that has been asked with regard to the labor productivity some of the years back. The Supreme Court made a comment: states' duty is to ensure living wages for workers, not label them as terrorists. So in the Noida, we have seen the workers protest because for lack of, they have been protesting for increase the wages. So we should all remember this one key important article. Article 43 directs the state to secure a living wage. Please take note of this fact: living wage does not mention minimum wage; it mentions living wage. Decent working conditions and promote cottage industries, especially in rural areas. The Indian monsoon may reach Kerala on May 26, says Indian Meteorological Department. So we all know the Indian monsoon. It is very important from the point of geography, because if the Indian monsoon fails, our agriculture sector will get affected. If the agriculture sector gets affected, our rural spending will get rural spending will dip, and the entire economy, like water shortage in urban areas, several other problems will continue to follow. So the monsoon will generally reach the Kerala by June 1st. It is called southwest monsoon. And the last and final article: the rupee crosses the psychological 96 rupees per dollar. So what is the impact of the depreciation of rupee? What will be its impact on imports? What will be its impact on exports? This is very much important for us to understand. Let's see an MCQ in this regard. Which one of the following is not the most likely measure the government or RBI takes to stop the slide of Indian rupee? So if A, curbing the imports of non-essential goods and promoting exports. Yes. Encouraging Indian borrowers to issue rupee denominated masala bonds. Correct. C, easing conditions related to external borrowing. D, following an expansionary monetary policy. Incorrect. So what happens? So the answer for this question is D. So if you have any kind of doubts with regard to today's session, you can ask. If there are no doubts, we can wind up the session for today. So there are no doubts, it seems we will end up. Thank you.